just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
Okay guys, what I've done here, I'll tell you what I've done. I've got a recording, okay, I've done a little test here, and you can listen to my voice.
Hello, this is just a test. I want to make sure that everything works fine when I'm talking here to understand what's being said. Hello.
It's like a robot, yeah? The voice is like a robot because it's all one tone, one note, one pitch.
Hello, this is just a test. I want to make sure that everything works fine when I'm talking here to understand what's being said. Hello, this is just a...
Okay, good, right. Let me just show you how I did that again. So, okay, I've got a recording. Where is it? Hold on. Good question. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. So, yeah, I found the file again, and basically you can hear there's a lot of sound in the background. I've got my microphone, and I've got my electric fan in the background, so it's a bit noisy. It's not like great quality at all. But the most important thing I'm showing you here is the fact that we can do this, and we can do this with good, basically good recordings too, right? I did make a recording on a video on this subject the other day. This is basically a second one. What I'm basically doing is I'm showing you how we can first take a recording of a voice of someone talking. Then what you can do is obviously you can stretch it and stuff and cut it up if you want to. So like take the sample and put it in the right timing with music, right? But what I was going to say is you can take it and change the notes of the pitch to make it sound like it's singing, and without it restarting every time. You can just play through one time and you can just let it change the notes up and down as though it's singing, you know, and that's a really cool thing to do. So I noticed that using a normal recording such as this one, look.
Hello, this is just a test. I want to make sure that everything works fine when I'm talking here to understand what's being said.
Okay, when I have a normal recording like this, okay. Hello, this is just a test. I want to make sure that everything works fine when I'm talking here to understand what's being said. Well, what we notice is it's okay, but it doesn't work too well for doing it that way. What I've noticed is doing it, turning it to mono, I'll show you. There's a plugin, okay, you can find online. Look this up online, okay? You can find a plugin online. I'm just going to find it now. I'm going to add this in here, okay? Go to more plugins. I've got this here. So this will not come with FL Studio. I've got the free version, as I say, but this will not come with it usually. You'll have to find it online. It's a free one. It's a good one, okay? It's called Rovi. Rovi. There's other ones too, like I showed you in the other video. Check that video out. This one's called Rovi. And if we find it today, we'll be lucky. Let me see if I can find this. Oh, I can type it in the find box. Rovi. Where is it? There. Well, I'm not finding it here. It's actually here though. I think it might be just on the list. Hold on. Where is it? It's here. So let's go to this slot 1. Yeah, slot 1, and I'll find it. Where is it? I swear it was here. Rovi. Hold on. That's really confusing me because I had it a moment ago. Rovi. Bear with me a second, guys. Let's try again. Okay, more plugins. I think we've got to be in here. That's why we've got to do it from here. This is why. Okay, so you've got to do it in here. Come into this part first, and then it's here. See, Rovi. Okay, it's a VST called Rovi. Just look it up online. ROVEE. Double click. Okay, that's set, right? And it's really, really simple. So you click on the settings up here and go to robotic. Okay, in fact, there's a button for robotic also there in the middle, green button. Okay, and I'm going to double click this. I've set it to track number 1. Okay, so it's set to number 1, and when I press play now.
Hello, this is just a test. I want.
Okay, so it's a little bit low, so we bring that back up. We fix this pitch here, the middle one, and press.
Hello, this is just a test. I want to make sure that everything works fine when I'm talking here to understand what's being said. Hello, this is just a test. I want to make sure that everything works fine.
So that's fine. But what I want to do is I want to clean up the sound a bit because it's really bad with the sound of that fan in the background. It's really bad, I know. But what we can do is do different things. So I'll just you can bring in whatever you want to bring in. I'm going to bring in Fruity Parametric Equalizer 2 and just play around with that and see what we get.
Hello, this is just a test. I want to make sure that everything works fine when I'm talking here to understand what's being said. Hello, this is just a test. I want to make sure that everything works fine when I'm talking here to understand what's being said. Hello, this is just a test. I want to make sure that everything works fine when I'm talking here to understand what's being said. Hello, this is just a test. I want to make sure that everything works fine when I'm talking here to understand what's being said. Hello, this is just a test. I want to make sure that
Okay, I can't get it perfect, obviously, because of what's happened, you know, with the sound. I mean, with the fan in the background, you know. But let's just do what we can. I'll bring something else in. Frequency splitter. Try that as well on top of it.
Hello, this is just a test. I want to make sure that everything works fine when I'm talking here to understand what's being said. Hello, this is just a test. I want to make sure that everything works fine when I'm talking here to understand what's being said. Hello, this is just a test. I want to make sure that everything works fine when I'm talking here to understand what's being said. Hello, this is just a test. I want to make sure that everything works fine when I'm talking here to understand what's being said. Hello, this is just a test. I want to make sure that everything works fine when I'm talking.
Okay, I think that will actually do. We're going to have that. What I want to do is I want to just basically make a new thing with it though. Okay, I'll just show you. So I want to drag it out a bit longer. For this, make sure you have stretch selected here, which is just beside this little green triangle. When it gets right to the start, there's a little button here. Make sure you've got stretch on, okay? And what I do out of habit, go to Tools, Macros, Tools, Macros, and go down to Switch All Audio Clips to, Switch All Audio Clips to Real-Time Stretching. Real-Time Stretching, click that and then go OK. Another thing I like to do is double click on this, our thing, I'm recording, and go to here on the mode, and I've got it set to stretch. Usually it's set to resample, but I've got it set to stretch. Just remember those things, okay? We're going to probably have to do it again in a moment, but I'll do that at once here. So what I do is I drag this out so it's a bit longer, and I'm doing this for a certain reason. Press play. Also, once you've done that, it will go into a deep pitch, so double click it again, press play, go to the pitch, press play.
Hello, this is just a test.
Oh, okay, it seems to be okay. Let's just bring it here.
Hello, this is just a test. I want to make sure that
I'll show you why I'm doing this in a moment. I'll show you why. I'm going to cut off some bad bits. We're going to make a new recording here, a new file out of this file, basically cutting the bad bits off. What I want to do is I want to find a kind of some kind of rhythm in it that makes. I'm not going to chop it up and arrange it into a. I mean, I could do, but I don't really want to mess around like that. Really, I could cut it up and put it in a certain arrangement. Let's just see. Let's have a look. Okay, I'm going to go to all. I'm going to add a little drum beat in. A little drum beat, a little fun thing. I'm going to put, like, what speed should we have? 50, maybe 40? Okay, I'll go here. Very, very simple beat, okay.
hello.
Lay down the pattern and just, duplicate it up a bit, okay. About like that, maybe. Boom, merge those by holding Control and pressing G.
Hello, this is just a test. I want to make sure that everything works fine when I'm talking here to understand what's being said.
Okay, let's move those on to number 2.
Hello, this is just a test. Hello.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that off for a minute. Go really, really simple, okay, really, really simple. Let's see what 20 is like on the BPM. Yeah, that's cool, okay. That is really cool. So let's just go with that for a bit.
Hello, this is just a test.
Okay, good.
Hello, this is just a test. I want to make sure that everything works fine when I'm talking here Hello, this is just a test. I want to make sure that everything works fine when I'm talking here. This is just a test. I want to make sure that everything's a test. I want to make sure that everything.
Okay, so I'm going to cut parts off and do this. Watch.
Hello, this is just a test. 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 Oh, this is just a test. Just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. Test. This is a test. This is just a test. Test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna turn this to none for a second and stretch it nice and a little bit.
This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. Oh, this is just a test. Oh, this is just a test. 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 Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
So it's just really simple. I'm not going to go perfectly like in good time. I'm going to just do something very simple there, okay? And then I'm going to select all of those recordings, hit Control and press G to group those, okay? If I click on that, it should be connected to nothing actually at the moment. So let's just go.
Hello, this is just a test.
So it's got everything there. Okay. Now what I can do is, what is it? Let's check the name of it. I want to actually rename it. So let's rename it. Where's the thing? Can you rename it? You can, can't you? This is consolidated one. I want to just change the name of it. On where can I do that? Hold on. Up here, right? Where is the name? Rename. Okay. We'll change the colour to something like yellow. And we'll call it thing. So this is the thing, right? This one. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just right click to delete that. Okay. We've got our beat there. And we delete this other recorder. We don't need that. And now in here, and I'll make sure we've got what we had before. So tools, macros, switch all audio clips to real-time stretching. Okay. Do a double click on this, make sure that one's set to stretch like it is. Good. Okay, good. Just a good habit to do. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in here and add another little what do you call it, bass line, or a little, you know, tune or something, a little bit of music in here. So I'm going to bring in an instrument. Okay, I'll bring in just something really simple, like something really simple. We've got any pads in here? And in this one I'm not too sure. I like to use this app, as I say, this one. This yeah, we've been using the wrong one, so let's find another one. This is VST, it's a good one. I'll just bring in harmless, go to pads. We'll choose a pad of some sort. This might do. Like this, will you? Okay, now it's going to get fun. So we've just added another pattern in, okay? So it's literally adding a pattern in is what we've done. Put this pattern in here. I've got loads of patterns now, huh? Got loads of patterns now, like, oh my god. Bringing it to there we go. Bloody nice. Bloody smashing, mate. Banging. Banging, mate. Bringing it to there like that. And what you do is you go up here, like, and you choose your bloody thing. Choose your thing, this one, yeah. And here's the thing. So when I put it in,
hello, this is just a test.
Hello, this is just a test.
It keeps it the same because we've got that stretch thing set up, right? But what we can do in the beginning, we just drag it out so it plays through, see how long it is.
Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
So that's the length of the thing, right? We got it right in the beginning by matching it the way we did. And the timing's good too. Now what I do is I come in here, make another one. And I bring it all the way down, make it really small, drag it on the edge. Can we just drag this here and just double click on it, this small one, and click on this little triangle. It's gliding, it's for gliding. Then you click accept. Now let's move that out of the way for a minute. Oh, also one more thing you want to do is you want to go to, yeah, it's already on, where is it? Cut itself. Cut itself, so this one. Actually, I don't know if that's gonna, it should work. Let me just see first of all.
Hello, this is just a test.
Yeah, you see what I mean? Okay. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna make sure we get the first note first. So listen.
Hello.
Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
Basically, you can change the notes, is what I'm saying.
Hello, this is just.
Hello, this is. Hello.
So let's do it. You know?
Hello, this is just a test. Hello. 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 Hello.
Hello,
Hello, this is
just a test. This is just.
hello, this is
Just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just.
hello, this is
Just a test. This is just a test. This is just a
Hello.
test.
hello, hello. Hello, this is
Just a test. This is just a test. This
is just a test. Hello, this is just a test.
Okay, I'll tell you what, right, if you find this like difficult in the beginning, what you can do is have no notes first of all. But in this same pattern, this same pattern, you can bring in an instrument just for the time being. Like for example, I could bring in anything, keys, right, key, piano, and just make a tune with that first and lay it on top of that. So go. So it might sound easier to work out in the beginning. Okay, and with that we can then switch over to thing, and we can work that on top of that because we can still see the keys. We can see the keys, right?
Hello.
So you drag this one across, and then on top of that, for as long as that will play, we make little ones, and we place them on top of these notes. But we need to double click, choose the triangle thing, the glide, and copy this little one and put them on top of those. Put them on top of the... Okay, and then what we can do is delete the keys from here. Now it should work.
Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
And if it doesn't work too well, you can just fix it up a little bit if you want to.
Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, this is just a test. This is. Hello, this is just a test. This is. Hello. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test.
Okay. Now you've got that, and what you can also do, don't forget, is you could select all of these and drag them down to a lower note if you wanted to.
Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
Hello,
This is just a test. This is just a test.
that's it, yeah.
Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test.
Right. So now we've got it sorted. What we need to do is it's not added to anything. It says add it to an empty rack, whatever you call it, track. Insert. I'm going to go to. I'll just come in here and just choose Fruity Parametric Equalizer 2. Long word.
Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
Another thing to keep in mind is look how well we got rid of that sound of the fan in the background. That was amazing. Just turn it down a bit, as I want to say. I'm going to play around with the overall balance of everything, and then I'm going to add some effects onto the voice. Let's get it, and maybe some more sounds. Ready?
Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test.
One more thing we can also do actually while I'm here, I can drag this over this, join these up, let's join them up and make it a bit more better. The recording, I'm going to turn these off, the sound for a second, just to be safe. Have only the voice one selected, and I'm going to go to my thing. I don't have to turn those other ones off for this, but I'm going to show you quickly. So it's nice and clean. Open up this. That was on number 4, right?
Hello, this.
It's on number 4, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that down a little bit. Hold on.
Hello, this is just a test. This is just a.
I'm going to click on this little red thing at the bottom, this little dot here. See at the bottom, red, to arm it, and I'm going to go up to here, the triangle, top left. I'm going to go to disk recording, render to wave files, and yeah, the whole song, start, bang. Okay, it's done something there. I'll show you what it's done. Turn this off for a second. It's given us this, a wave version of that. So if I turn this off now, delete that basically. Turn this here, boom. It's not added to anything. Let's play it.
Hello, this is just a test.
Now I've got a copy of that which I can then play with even further. I can still play with the other one further, but this is a recording, so we can do things with this as well. We can have like a different copy of it if we wanted to, with a different pitch, and I'll show you that in a moment. Let's just go back in here. I want to set this thing here to, I'll set it to number 4, but I'll go to number 4, and where is it? Number 4.
Hello,
This is test.
And I will change this parametric to the reverb 2, basically.
hello,
This is just a
Well, actually, I should have kept that, I think. Let's keep it. Okay, move it back up. Keep both of them.
hello,
This is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
hello,
This is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
Cool, right?
hello,
This is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
hello,
This is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
You can add different things in.
hello,
This is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
hello,
Just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
Okay.
hello,
This is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
hello,
This is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
Okay. Not too bad. Let's check this out. I'm going to make a copy of this here. I'm going to drag it down. Click on the little side bit, the left bit of it, and go to Make Unique as Sample. So up there. And for this one, I'm going to turn the pitch all the way up.
Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
hello,
So I'll put them together for a bit of fun, yeah? I'm also going to join these both up and make them one. Let's see how that goes.
hello,
This is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
Cool. Okay, now we can put some more sounds in. Okay, let's go here. Make a little thing up with some sounds. I'm going to go into this. You can use any sounds you like. It's up to you. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, we can use this one.
hello, hello,
This is
hello,
This is just a test. This is just
But it's not in the right tune, so it's in the right key.
hello, hello,
this is just a test.
hello,
This is just a test. This is
hello,
This is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
hello,
This is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
hello,
This is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
hello,
This is just a test. This is just a test. test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello.
So it's nice, yeah, it's good. I'll bring this up to another sound here, and we can do a lot of things.
Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. 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 Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
Okay, so we can come in here and put some little sounds in, some other notes or whatever we want to put some sound effects in, and that's really cool. Yeah, I can go to find another instrument maybe. I'm thinking what's best. I think to be safe and simple, there are things we could use. I'll see, let's have a look. I want to get some 80s sound in. That's cool. That's cool, but I don't think we don't really need it. Hold on. Actually, it would work well in here. Let's just put it in.
This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just.
So really cool, yeah. I can come in here and do a few things. I could try with a delay. I don't think it's going to be good.
This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. 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 Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
It's not necessary. We don't need it. We don't need it. But we could put something else in with that kind of a sound, you know. But I'm not going to even bother. Let me just show you what we're going to do, okay? So I'm going to show you. Put this here. Do some editing to it. I feel like some of these sounds should be together. Like, let's just see what we have. That's so cool. Yeah, these should be together, I feel. So join them together. Put these together. Here, here. Okay, and this can be the build-up, see, so... Even from here, even...
This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
I decided to go in it that way this time, but what we can do is make copies of this. Look, I'll show you, and use bits of it if we want to, unless you've got different vocals.
Hello, this is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
So I've just taken this one part.
Test.
And for this, I can even make a copy of this. So I can click this here and go to make unique as sample. Remember to delete samples you don't want to keep in future. I'm going to change the pitch of it a little bit.
Test. 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 Test.
Even, in fact, I will go make sure this is on none. I usually keep this on up here as cell to make it snap in place, but we're going to choose none for now just to keep it in nice timing. It's quite difficult to time.
Test. Test.
Actually no, I'm going to keep it as cell and I'm going to put it at the second one little space across. I think it should be okay.
Test. Test.
Not too sure, maybe 2. Hold on, let's have a look. I think what it is it's too, it just starts at a certain point. See if you can see this, it needs to be cut a little bit. So I'm going to cut this a little bit here. Let me just go to the view, 1/6 is step, cut it about here, bang, bring that there. Now it's going to be okay. Boom, turn that back to cell. So I just cut it a bit shorter there. So basically what I did.
Test.
Even here.
Test. 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 Test.
And again, even that can get repetitive. So let's just copy that. Hold down Control, press C, then press V with it held down to copy, then paste. 3 spaces along and it snaps well good.
Test. Test.
And again, you can copy all of those, so select them and then join them. And you might want to play with the volume a little bit on that too, because this will be loud now.
Test. Test.
And what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to bring it up to an empty rack and I'm going to put an echo on it. Over here, bang, 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 straight in. Yeah, nice. Okay, so keep it like that. Nice, keep it like that. That's very nice. So it goes over there. I'm going to have it slow down a bit at the end. The beat just stop for a second. The drop, whatever you want to call it. Put this in, and then it's going to be a case of putting that a couple of times and then putting an outro on to make it a simple but short, fun little song. And I'm going to copy these ones across. Hold on. Yep. Copy, paste, drag them across carefully. Zoom in to make sure there's no weird spaces or anything between them. Something that happens where they don't add up in the right alignment. They're okay, good. And then the last part I'll do is just put this bit on. Enjoying that. Okay, that's pretty cool, right? And what I want to do is I could do a little fade out if I wanted to. I think I'll do a fade in with this. Let's do a fade in and a fade out. I'm going to go to here, to the master volume, right click on the actual thing itself and go to create automation clip, left click that. Now from here you're going to zoom in, right clicking in certain points and left clicking to drag down certain volumes. You'll see what it does. Coming over here, you know, and then it will just go down as you see how it fades out. You can do this. Okay. Cool, alright, let's see. And we're going to play the track now, let's listen to it.
Just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. 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 Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
Okay, sorry to stop that there. I've just realised that this needs to be double the length, right? Because it's actually wrong. Let's join them up. Yeah, I missed that part there. I'm so sorry. Move this across. In fact, we'll just delete the automation. No, we'll just drag it on and edit it in a moment. Let's just drag this. It's going to be a case of just dragging this part along, mate. That's what you're going to need to do. Not a big deal. This comes across here. Right. Yeah, it's going to be able to be doubled up, basically. So this goes here. This also, we'll do some doubling up here. We sure will. Do this again. I'll fix that. Don't worry, that part. We have to listen to it. Going to have to listen to it properly. I have to make sure it's not messed up now because of what I've just done here. It's not bad though, right? It's come out okay. I think it's come out okay. Let's see. So coming along here. What do we have? What do we have? What do we have? Drums, okay. Bit like that. Yeah, a few things are off, as you can see. Okay, that, okay, I've seen it. Okay, that was it. And the last bit would have been this bit, I guess. And that means this would have to go there. and this go there to close it up nicely, and we'll listen to it from about here again.
Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
So you see, this is why we have to test things. Yeah, did you see there was something off timing there?
Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test. Hello, this is just a test. This is just a test. This is just a test.
Good, a nice fade out. So okay, it worked, right? It worked in the end. We did it. I could add more effects on, some bass and some more effects and stuff, but I'm not going to bother with that. Okay, it's fine as it is. Just save that out, and that's how to do the melody of a voice, someone talking. And what are we going to call this? Not test game. Test song. Voice melody. Melody FX. Bit of fun. So I got that bit of timing was off there, and I fixed it, as I say. And you'll be careful. Sometimes you copy and paste things around, move them around, and you realise that it's not in the right place. There's a gap between them, or it comes too early or late, or it overlaps something. That can happen. You be really careful. Okay, I've had lots of problems with my songs in the past where I've made songs and things have just overlapped. You've got like things in the wrong place, and it's just, oh, it's terrible. It can actually happen, and it's a real horrible, annoying thing. Once it's all saved, once you don't have the stuff. Plus, when I'm using the free version like this of FL Studio, you can't save your projects. You can only save the song outright as a song. You know? So you can save the different parts and bring them back in. That's the only other way you can do it. Usually, I just make a full song in one session, just quick, and do it like that. You know, work pretty fast, but if you want to get good quality, you need to put more time in. Thank you very much for watching. Okay, I hope you like that. Yeah, I've got this OCD habit of mine where I always copy and paste the thing and then delete the original. Another thing you want to do while I'm here is go into your thing. Like I've got a folder here for audio. All of the recordings you got rendered and recorded. Make sure you got that here, and you just go in and delete what you did, because you don't want to keep. There's no point in keeping all of these recordings, all those different parts we made, and copies of those different parts. Remember? Yeah. So just getting rid of those here. Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching.